one of my very favorite renditions of that song, Placido Domingo and John Denver. What an odd pairing, right? But it works perfectly. I just love that song. So this idea that love is pretty darn complicated, isn't it? People have a lot of different ways of viewing love and what it means in their lives and how they are with it. But what I can tell you is that I like what this song says. Love is a resting place. Love is a shelter from the storm. It's a place that we find warmth, and it's a place that we go to find comfort. Whether it's in our own journey or whether it's in community with others, that's what it's about for me. So, you know, there are lots and lots of kinds of love. We've got agape love, which is that big universal love. We've got romantic love. We've got the love that we have for our families, our children, our grandchildren. It's very complex. And what I know about love is there's lots of emotion. I see some tears. There's lots of emotion around love. There's some wounding around love. There's great joy around love. So it's, you know, really kind of a perfect topic for this season of the year, because there's sort of this global energy pattern where we're all kind of focused, and it's hard to pass up the idea, certainly in the Western world, that there's something different going on, that Christmas is afoot, and that, you know, it's the season of glad tidings, the season of joy and hope and peace and love. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I was preparing for my talk, and I don't usually read stories and things from the internet, but I found this, and I really like what it says, and I think it really is a meaningful sort of little reminder. And it's sort of a play. It was on a religious site, and it's a play on a Bible verse. If you're from the Christian tradition, you may recognize some familiarity in what it's saying. So this is what I found. If I decorate my house perfectly with plaid bows, strands of twinkling lights, and shiny balls, but I don't show love to everyone I meet, I'm just another decorator. If I slave away in the kitchen, baking dozens of cookies, preparing gourmet meals, and arranging a beautifully adorned table at mealtime, but I don't show everybody I meet love, I'm just another cook. If I work at the soup kitchen, carol in the nursing home, and give all that I have to charity, but I don't show love to everyone I meet, it profits me nothing. If I trim the spruce with shimmering angels and crocheted snowflakes, attend a myriad of holiday parties, and sing in the choir's cantata, but I don't focus on love, I've missed the point. Love stops the cooking to hug a child. Love sets aside the decorating to comfort a hurt. Love is kind, though harried and tired. Love doesn't envy someone else's home if it has coordinated Christmas china and tablecloths. Love doesn't yell at the kids to get out of the way. Love doesn't give only to those who are able to give in return, but rejoices in giving to those who can't. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails. Video games break, pearl necklaces get lost, golf clubs rust, but the gift of love endures beyond measure. I like that. A little reminder there for how we approach these holidays. So this idea of love, this kind of love that we're talking about today, is just a real good reminder for us to make a choice how we show up during this season and really all the time. Make a choice to be an expression of the kind of love that is a quality of being, beyond the romance, beyond all the other definitions that we might bring to this idea of love, but to live it as a quality of, you know, the essence of God that we actually are, to live that. I love the reading of Hanukkah, to take these tiny sparks of divinity, or I'd say these bright flames, these flames of divinity out into our life experience and bring the light of love wherever we go. That's the reminder here, to bring that halo, to put on our halo and wear it with glory and with grace, to be that energy of this radiant love wherever we go. To live the great commandment. You know, this is a season when we celebrate the story of the birth of the Christ child. And then that story goes on to talk about Jesus. And one of the stories in the Bible talks about, you know, the Good Samaritan. Jesus talks about the Good Samaritan. This idea of love your neighbor, love everybody, the greatest commandment. Love one another. You know, the story of the Samaritan that Jesus used as a teaching tool was about a Jewish person that got robbed and beat up and laid by the wayside to die. And the priest passed him by and the Levites passed him by. But the Samaritan, and Martin Luther King referred to the Samaritans as the ones of mixed race. The Samaritans, Peter, yeah, the Samaritans were not very popular, certainly with the Jews. But the Samaritan's the one that stopped and rendered aid. It's now become, you know, hospitals are named the Good Samaritan. So the Samaritan has become a very popular buzzword for us, for loving no matter what, for rendering aid no matter what, for not having to decide who's my neighbor, who do I help, who do I love, who don't I love. This idea that we are to love everyone without exception. Don't have to qualify. Doesn't have to look a certain way. No matter what we love, period. Just period. We just are to be this energy of love in the world. Beyond all the polarities of what is lovable and what's not. So when you look at your own life experience, my guess is there may be some people or things or beliefs or circumstances in your life that you might perceive as unlovable, yes? And this is an invitation to cultivate the capacity to shift your perception around that, whatever that is. I'm not saying it's easy. I am not saying it's easy. Got my own stuff to work with, right? But I am saying that it is a possibility for us to work in that direction. And when we begin to work in that direction and bring light to that, everything changes. So this idea of expanding, spreading our wings, expanding beyond the boundaries of this narrow, I'll love you, but not you over here. I can only love this group of people. I'm not so sure about those people over there. It's not about that. It's about expanding the wings of love so that we can love no matter what, no matter who, no matter how it shows up. That's a big, big, big commission in life. Because most of us have some patterns, some habits, some wounding that's gone on in our life experience that makes us go, yeah, right, not there. So this idea of being able to love, there's no opposite to love, really. To love without an opposite. To have this unconditioned love that is able to look past whatever those transgressions might have been in the past, whatever that history is, whatever those circumstances are that cause us to judge or to feel poorly about an experience or a person, to move past that, you see. To live it as a quality of being right now, in this present moment, in everyday life, you know, not later. You can't love somebody later. You can't bring love to an experience later. You bring the quality of love right now, where you are, with whoever you're with. That's where love lives. Where you are, love lives. So if you're planning to love later, you need to kind of give that some thought and redirect your attention to the idea that the time to love is right now, wherever you are. Whoever shows up, whatever shows up, that's the time and the place to love. No matter what. I like the words that our authors are using. We're using Llewellyn Bounry's work, and he uses the word, bring heartfulness to your experience of life. Open-hearted. Bring that energy, that quality of the divine. And so what does love look like? This is what our author says love looks like. Love acts kindly without any expectations of return. That's a biggie. That's a biggie, because we often want to have people reciprocate our love, don't we? And it doesn't always come back that way. But you know what? We can love anyway. We can love no matter what. Love is non-harmful. Love is forgiving. Love sees past whatever that icky stuff is that has happened in relationships. It sees past that. Love is generous. It doesn't have any revenge about it. It's not vindictive. It doesn't hold a grudge. And so, David, give me the next PowerPoint, please. So one of our authors reminds us, Sharon Salzberg, you'll remember this probably from your work, Carol. She reminds us that our work is to remember our own loveliness. If we don't remember who we are, and that we too can be lovable even if we have done things for which we need to be forgiven, even if we've held grudges, even if we've, been vindictive from time to time, if we don't remember our very own loveliness, we're going to have a hard time loving as a quality of our being. So I've known about this for a while, but I came across it again in working with this talk. There's a tribe in South Africa called the Babemba. Did I say that right? Babemba? Do you know about that one? There's a tribe in South Africa, and their whole goal is to remind one another of their loveliness. So in this tribe, if someone has unskillful behavior, violates the norms of the culture, does something that's against whatever, I don't know what their cultural norms are, but when somebody violates the boundaries of what they consider to be appropriate within that culture, everybody puts their work down. I mean everybody, the children, the women, the men, everybody in all ages, they put their work down, they make a circle around the person that has, misstepped, whatever that misstep might be. They put them in the center of the circle, and then every single person, from the tiniest tot to the most elder in the community, recalls everything that this person has ever done in their lifetime that's good. They recall every incident, every experience, they recall every detail, they try to be as accurate as they can, they find every positive attribute, every good deed, all the person's strengths, every kindness the person has ever shown anybody, and they go on and on and on. And sometimes, I suppose it depends on how old the person is, sometimes it lasts for days. This process can last for days. Now this is what I thought was an interesting side note. They don't have to do a circle very often. Because in this culture, people remember their loveliness more than they forget. And so they're not misstepping as often. That's a lesson, folks. When we know who we are and we're bringing forth this loving energy into our experience, we're going to misstep a lot less frequently. I think that's pretty important. So, this focus on love, right now, present tense, within whatever we're doing, with whoever we're with, not forced. We don't have to try to love anybody. Just try to love somebody. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You can be nice, you can be appropriate, you can filter what you say, but you just try to love somebody. This is the idea of simply being love in the world and letting that radiate from your presence, letting that be who you are. And when you can bring this quality with you into everything and everywhere you go, then it's felt. It is an energy. It is a felt, resonant field. See? It's beautiful. It's harmonious. It's sweet. It's playful. It's joyful. It's all of that. And it's just not dependent on one particular person, one particular group of people, one particular situation. When you truly understand the radiance of this energy, of this love, it doesn't require anything in particular. We just are that. We just bring that with us wherever we go. And of course there are challenges, because as David Rico says, people are not always loving and loyal all the time. That happens. We've got stuff, right? We carry stuff around with us. But even though we've got people in our lives that, that old song, you don't bring me flowers anymore. Even though we've got that maybe going on in some areas of our lives where things have shifted and maybe we're not feeling it from others, it doesn't matter. Our invitation is to love anyway. It doesn't matter if they're not bringing us flowers anymore. We love anyway. We live love as a quality of who we really are. So we stretch and we spread our wings. And then this is what I'd like you to take with you today. During this season and always, and I love it, I try to live it, the motto and the mantra. Nothing you can say or do can ever make me stop loving you. Nothing you ever say or do can make me stop loving you. That's living love as a quality of being. That's what it's about, folks. That's holy love. That is spreading the wings of the heart to expand and to include everyone and everything. So I invite you to take your tiny spark or your giant flame, I don't know what that's going to do. Take it with you today and bring a big love into the world everywhere you go.